All right, recording started. You could begin.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Denicia Samuel Wilson, your presenter, including my colleague Shavani Munisa. Today, we will be focusing on understanding complex organizations. In this chapter, we are going to cover context in an organizational context, leadership in an organizational context. We will focus on the importance of the 5 aspects of relational leadership model. These are purpose, inclusivity, empowerment, ethics, and process. First, we will discuss groups and organizations. To understand the difference between groups and organizations, it is important to answer the questions by using who, what, where, when, and why, and how. Who and what? Organizations are large collections of groups of people that interact in a continuous manner within a complex structure to accomplish a specific purpose. They're inherently social entities and have many participants. For example, imagine a college or university with students, professors, administrators, alumni, parents, a board of trustees, registrators, and others, all working together to try to accomplish basically the same thing, to educate students, right? However, each of these groups views the education of students in a different way. When do they interact? Both groups and organizations interact continuously. The success of an organization depends on the various groups staying connected so that they can work together easily and effectively. Where do these interactions occur? Basically, being physically close to other members is certainly helpful, but not absolutely necessary in organizations. As organizations are growing through technology, as we will discuss later in the chapter, but remain connected with the belief of their mission or purpose. How organizations are structured are complex in their structures, with many layers and departments and many people involved in leadership and decision making. Again, we look at the school system in order to successfully involve all of the different groups in the educational process, different roles, policies, and procedures, but must be in a place and a number of different leadership positions must be in place. And why? Both groups and organizations have one purpose. Organizations exist to accomplish a specific purpose, which is why they have been around for so long. Organizations as a complex system. Organizations are systems where each interaction between members produces outcomes that affect each individual, and subsequent interactions and outcomes. With more people and groups, interactions become more frequent, and life within the organization becomes more complicated, because everything affects everything else. Still complex? Let's go on. Imagine you work for a large organization. Not only does the organization have different departments, but lots of different projects are going on with several people working on each project. If this were your company, you would be considered complex. To really understand this term, it is helpful to break down this definition. Organizational complexity is how multiple entities of an organization differentiate among themselves. It refers to the number of resources that are involved in a division, project, or team if the size of the organization is said to be complex. Here we have school versus hospital. To really understand complexity, it is important to understand why an organization might be complex. Sometimes it is not bad for an organization to be complex. A few reasons why an organization might be complex, including multiple stakeholders like customers, suppliers, regulators, investors, media, and competitors. Multiple organization structures like divisions, subsidiaries, and joint ventures. Multiple people are involved in completing a particular job. Multiple steps to be followed to get a job done. So example, a school is considered a less complex organization as compared to a hospital, simply because a hospital requires a large diversity of specialists and doctors in order to function properly. Kevin Kelly, 1994, introduces the 9 laws of God, which he describes as organizing principles in systems, as diverse as biological, evolution, and SimCity. These laws also apply to organizations as systems and relate closely to the new paradigm material covered at the end of chapter 2. We believe that these qualities describe life both in and out of organizations and will become even more visible in the coming century. Take a look at the Kelly list of principles. Which ones resonate with you? We have distribute being, as the essence of the organization exists in all of its connected members. Control from the bottom up. Empower members at all levels of the organization. Cultivate increasing returns. That's focusing on what your organization does well and do it even better. Grow by chunking. Organizations grow not one piece at a time, but in bunches. Maximize the fringes. Honor your creative members and their ideas, even if they are really out there. Honor your errors. It is only through trial and error that learning happens. Pursue no optima. Have multiple goals. There is no one right answer to complex problems. There are only many particular solutions. Seek persistent equilibrium. This equilibrium brings energy into the organization. Change changes itself. Change leads to more change, which changes the initial change. Organizational leadership. Organizations are structures in which a set of groups can engage with each other over time. And leadership exists to help these groups work together to accomplish a specific purpose. Leadership exists for only one reason: to help an organization accomplish its stated purpose. This purpose may shift over time, but leadership must always honor its commitments to keep the organization on track to pursue its mission. The realization leadership model provides a usable framework from which leaders can work to accomplish an organization's purpose by being inclusive, empowering, ethical, and process-oriented. By being inclusive, empowering, ethical, and process-oriented, leaders and members can work together successfully to accomplish significant change. Here we see the realization leadership model, all incorporated in, see it's in sync. So there's the process. Within it, we have the inclusivity, the purpose, the ethicness, all unisected into one. Organizational structures. As organizations exist to accomplish some purpose, they also have a structure that will make their operations easier. Max Weber, 1924 to 1947, created the classic bureaucratic model for organizations, featuring a hierarchical structure, divisions of labor, and clearly articulated rules and regulations to govern how the organization should operate. This structure was designed to promote order and accountability within the organization. In this model, the power, authority, and responsibility for leading the organization is at the top, with the president, and flows downward through the other officers and committee chairs. However, there is a call for organizations to be collaborative, compassionate, and empathetic. Instead of the all command and control functions, leadership within these structures is being asked to connect people across the entire environment by involving the wants, the needs, and talents of the organizational members. The traditional pyramid of an organization should be flipped upside down so that the members are at the top of the president is at the bottom. This reconceptualization allows the president to support the efforts of other officers and committee chairs to better meet the needs and wishes of the members. This can be a powerful exercise for an organization, as it will help show how well the leader is helping the other members work towards achieving the purposes for which the organization exists. This is called the inverted organizational structure. The web structure. The concept of a web is a proposed organizational structure that is defined by its patterns and the idea that the shape and pattern of the web will vary over time. This structure works well in an environment filled with change, and the pattern is continually being built up, stretched, altered, modified, and transformed. Quoted from Helgeson, 1995, Helgeson, sorry. She outlines 6 important processes that define these webs more clearly than the patterns define them. Communication is open and happens across and among all levels of the organization, and the strands of the web distribute the power throughout the network. Reorganization is easy, and the web can tighten around its center or become looser. And the strands radiating out of the leader provides point of connection to the outside environment and allow new members to latch onto the organization. Finally, the web organization constantly reinvents itself through a process of trial and error. Non-hierarchical structure. Non-hierarchical organizations share power and authority, making decisions by consciousness and sharing leadership roles throughout the membership. They are often used for philosophical reasons, as members believe in true equality. The most important details are that the organizational structure is not the organization, but rather the membership, who have come together for certain purposes. The structure was created to help the membership achieve the purposes for which the organization was developed and to connect people to each other. However, it is important to remember that a change in structure may not solve profound issues between people. It may simplify things or make them operate more effectively, but it will not solve profound issues between people. Moving now to organizational mission, vision, and core values. Organizations exist for a specific purpose, as you would have mentioned earlier, such as representing the views of the membership, producing a product, or providing activities for its members. The success or failure of an organization will be determined by how its purpose, or quote unquote, or mission comes to life in its vision and actions. The importance of mission, vision, and core values of an organization cannot be overestimated. Can anyone name the organizations these logos represent?
One is Massey.
Self-explanatory, right? So,
National Petroleum, TT Post.
and the last one, anyone? Anybody take? All right.
GTTPS, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Right. So All these organizations may differ in the areas that they represent, but each one of them all have a mission, vision, and core values that they all aim for within their organizations. A mission statement. An organization's mission statement should answer the question, why does this organization exist? It should be written in clear, concise language and include input gathered from throughout the organization. It should also offer a compelling reason for the organization's existence and articulate the contribution it makes to the campus, community, or world. The mission of the organization could be social, service-related, programmatic, political, or any combination. But the effectiveness of the organization will be determined by how well it moves towards its mission. Examples of a mission statement from out of it, just two of the 4 companies that we would have viewed on earlier on. TTPS, their mission is in partnership with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we provide for safe and secure communities and other places through professional policing, focused leadership, and consistent high-quality services. Massey Stores went on to say their mission will be creating value, transforming lives through commitment to the ultimate satisfaction and happiness of our association, continually building the trust and loyalty of our customers, delivering a delightful, pleasurable, and safe shopping experience to all. They have self-service now, mind you, so they're giving us that. Fostering a multi-beneficial and ethical relationship with our suppliers, caring about our communities and our environment. Stop give us bags, we have to pay for it now, to go in green. Vision. The vision answers the question, what is the ideal future for the organization? The vision of an organization is an ideal or unique image of the future. It must motivate and inspire, be a stretch, be clear and concrete, be achievable, reflect high values, and be simple. It must challenge both the leader and the membership to do their best to move towards the mission for which the organizations exist. It is important for the mission and vision statements to be clearly stated and inspiring, and to constantly be in front of all leaders and members and used to guide the actions of the organization. Margaret Whitley, 1992, notes that something as simple as a clear core set of values and vision kept in motion through continuing dialogue and can lead to order. The mission and vision must be kept alive through the actions of the leaders and members of the organization. Example of the vision. TTPS, to protect and serve with pride. Massey Stores, the premier Caribbean Basin retailer, continuously extending our reach. Core values. The core value answers the question, how do we as organization members agree to treat ourselves and others as we pursue our mission and vision? Without core values, any behavior could be justifiable. Once it moved the organization towards its mission and vision. Collins and Morris, 1994, described core values as the organization's essential and enduring tenets. These core values are small in number, usually 3 to 6 values, and so fundamental and deeply held that they will change or be compromised seldom, if ever. It is important to take time to reflect on the core values for which an organization stands. Example of core values. TTPS has, in fulfilling its motto to protect and serve with pride, the TTPS is committed in sustaining the following values: professionalism, respect, integrity, dignity, and excellence. Massey Stores has, our company values help us to maintain our internal and external services, standards. In other words, they help us build better relationships with internal and external customers. They are as follows: honesty and integrity, love and care, growth and continuous improvement, responsibility, collaboration, and respect.
We will now move on to organizational culture. Organizational culture is a pattern of shared basic assumptions learned by a group as it solved its problems. Edgar Schein, 2004, proposes that culture has 3 levels. First, artifacts. Second, beliefs and values. And third, underlying assumptions. Terence Dial and Alan Kennedy, 1982, stressed the importance of values, heroes, rites, rituals, and communications network. These values provide the core of the organization and a guiding for the behaviors of the members. Ordinary individuals who are heroic in their actions are critical for success, providing role models, symbolizing the organization to outsiders, preserving what makes the organization special, setting a standard of performance, and motivating members. Rites and rituals provide the formal and informal guidelines for how the organization operates. Dial and Kennedy, 1982, analyzed the organization's communications network by examining how information is gathered and disseminated. Characters within the organization contribute to the communications network, such as storytellers, priests, whisperers, gossips, administrative support sources, spies, and cabals. Bowman and Dial, 2003, used 4 frames of organizations: structural, human resource, political, and symbolic. The structural frame focuses on formal processes. The human resource frame emphasizes the people in the organization. The political frame operates from the perspective that there will always be a scarcity of resources. And the symbolic frame focuses on the ceremonies, stories, and heroes that have defined the organization and reveal or reflect its values. Gerd Hofstad, 2003, proposes that people differ in 5 broad dimensions: power distance index, the degree to which the particular society supports inequality or equity; individualism, how much individual work is emphasized over collective action; masculinity, the degree to which traditionally male values are embraced over traditionally female values. Uncertainty Avoidance Index, the degree to which ambiguity and uncertainty are tolerated. And long-term orientation, how much a long-term perspective is favored over a short-term view. These dimensions can help us understand our own organizations by reminding us that people have different beliefs and preferences for how the world should work. It is important to have a sense of the culture of an organization in order to gain insight into how it operates. Change-oriented organizations can be exciting for new members, while veteran members may think things are fine the way they are. An organizational culture can also negatively affect life within the organization, as it can block new learning and cut down on the variety of perspectives brought to bear on an issue. Planning a rewarding substitute activity to celebrate the transition of new members to full membership can enrich the culture. Organizational networks. Jessica Lipnack and Jeffrey Stamps, 1993, define networks as where disparate groups of people and groups link to work together based on common purposes. Networks are important because they provide the chance to bring together a wide range of individuals for a common purpose to address specific ongoing issues. Key issues in the formation of a network include agreement on the network purpose, creating as many links as possible among members of the network, and making sure multiple leaders exist within the network. Lipnack and Stamps. Life cycles of organizations. Although the emerging paradigm described in Chapter 2 would suggest that organizations cannot be controlled, we believe that a critical point in the success of any organization is its ability to adapt to change, changing conditions, changing memberships, and changing leadership. A small group of skilled and determined individuals can move an organization to greatness by their focused actions. One of the most critical and often overlooked responsibilities of leadership is to identify, recruit, prepare, and mentor the futures of the organization. John W. Gardner, 1990, and Ichak Adanzi's 1988 present the concept of lives of organizations. Gardner uses the terms infancy and maturity to differentiate between organizations in their early lives and those that have evolved into something more orderly and with more direction. Adanzi's uses courtship, infancy, go-go, adolescence, prime, stable, aristocracy, early bureaucracy, and death to describe a similar change progress. At each stage, something is gained and something is lost. These stages in the life of organizations are similar to the stages of group development presented in Chapter 7. The model of Adanzi's The model of Adanzi's 1998 is important for student leaders to understand because it focuses on how an entire organization changes. To understand this model, it is important to take a look at the organization and ask themselves two questions on a regular basis. What have we accomplished recently? And how does what we accomplished reflect our organization's mission? As a leader, you must identify and describe significant accomplishments that helped your organization achieve, not the fact that you attended or ran a lot of meetings. Multicultural organizational development. The concept of multicultural organizational development, Alma and Hayes, 1990, Jackson and Helvino, 1988, Pope, 1993, is a way to approach organizational transformation. It emphasizes the full participation of members from all cultural and social groups, and a commitment to end all forms of social oppression that may exist within the organization. Alma and Hales in 1990 and Jackson and Helvino 1988, offers similar models for multicultural organizational development, but show the organization moving from a monocultural and exclusionary perspective to one that is compliant and non-discriminatory through a redefinition process. And finally, to a multicultural perspective. Jackson and Havino's 1988 work elucidates that assumptions that change agents make, depending on whether they come from a multicultural, non-discriminatory, or multicultural perspective, learn to understand, respect, and work effectively with others, have strongly held views that differ from your own as one of the great challenges of being a leader. Learning organizations. Peter Senge, 1990, Watkins and Marsick, 1993, and others have proposed a way to conceptualize organizations that will help them operate successfully in the chaotic world described in Chapter 2. They use the label learning organizations to describe organizations that have the capacity to grow, change, and develop to adapt to the challenges of their constantly changing environment. Senge, 1994, included the models of personal mastery, mental models, shared vision, and team learning. Personal, personal mastery involves individuals doing the best possible job, while mental models are assumptions that people make about the various aspects of the world. But members are skilled and empowered to use these skills, the whole organization benefits. Mental models are the assumptions people make about the world, which must be changed if positive change is to occur. It is important to compare mental models with others in an organization to minimize false assumptions and create empowering mental models that can guide an organization. Shared vision is essential for an organization to be successful, as it provides a shared sense of direction and confidence in one's own voice. Team learning is essential for any organization, as it requires learning at the team, organizational, and societal levels to make decisions, communicate, and disagree. Leaders must also be engaged in dialogue with members of their organization. A systems approach governs the thinking in a learning organization, where people share responsibilities for the good and the bad things that are happening. Since 1990 calls this learning disability, a belief that the enemy is out there. All aspects of a system are constantly working together to create the reality of the system. To take advantage of this opportunity, an organization must be able to learn how the board operates, what issues will be of most interest to the board, and what approaches will be successful. The capacity for an organization to continuously learn enables it to continuously recreate itself as it faces new challenges. An organization that is truly open and embracing of learning new approaches will make optimal use of this opportunity. Virtuality and the impact of technology. Technology has had a major impact on the organizational level, with virtual teams and organizations growing rapidly. Charles Handy defines virtual organizations as organizations that do not need to have all the people or sometimes any of the people in one place in order to deliver their service. Ziggers notes that virtuality is a continuum. The more the team is separated in terms of geography, time, or culture, the more virtual it is. Virtual organizations will require trust and common purpose and values to be shared by all members. Davino and Maloney, 1992, know that organizations will be flatter and built on the need for members to believe and trust in each other and involve members at all levels of the decision-making process. Leadership within virtual environments, described by Alvino and Kahini, 2003, as the development of relationships. Kistler, 2001, identifies e-leadership attributes for success, such as complexity, ambiguity, and uncertainty. Zakaro and Bader, 2003, note e-team leader roles that lead to e-team effectiveness, such as enhancing cohesion, nurturing trust, promoting sharing of information and ideas, moderating team conflict, facilitating team coordination and integration, and developing social and human capital. You may already be involved in other examples of virtual organizations on your campus, meeting in groups using various technologies rather than face-to-face meetings. Technology has enabled the ability to communicate and share information with anyone, anytime, anywhere. This has already been used to organize people, but what will it mean for organizations in the future? We cannot predict how organizations will change as a result of the use of technology, but they will change. New paradigm leadership in conventional paradigms cultures. One of the most challenging results of reading a book like this is realizing that you might embrace the principles of new paradigm leadership, but find yourself mirrored in a conventional culture. First of all, share what you know with other leaders, members of your organization, advisors, anyone who will listen. Continue to use this information and try new things. It is important to share what you know with others. Accept personal responsibility for finding ways to use it. Maintain a positive outlook. Try new things. Volunteer. And read and explore resources. This will serve you well in your entire life. There's a recommendation to continue to develop your own leadership library. The Fifth Discipline Fieldbook, Stench, Cleaner, Roberts, Ross, and Smith, 1994, is a book that discusses the principles of new paradigm leadership. In conclusion, this chapter, Understanding Complex Organizations, discussed the importance of complex organizations, mission, vision, and core values. It emphasizes the importance of relational leadership model, which encourages all members to take an active role in the life of the organization. It also emphasizes the importance of being inclusive, empowering, process-oriented, and being ethical to ensure the members can hold each other to a higher standard of behavior. Finally, it emphasizes the importance of having a shared vision or common purpose to reach its potential and be purposeful. Organizational life need not be an endless series of meetings run by Robert's rules of order, but they can and should be excitement and energy. Okay, so this brings us to the end of our presentation on understanding complex organizations.
Thank you, everyone.
Are there any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I will pause the recording.